Good evening. I've not quite got the hang of these events and how I started. But anyway, let's just get this on screen. Okay, we're up and running. Hi Tim, how you doing? I set an event, so obviously some people could see that I was going to do this video, but I can't quite work out how I then sort of use that event, because I usually do the recording from my phone, but when I set the reminder that the event, I do it on my big screen. Maybe I've got to do it from the phone and then just start it from there. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to do some more research on that. Which dark flick, cool. What are you smoking in which pipe? A Roma 320, very nice. I just saw somebody on the UKTPC asking the question what everybody sees in the 320. I didn't bother answering, but he actually, I can't remember who it was now, but he asks questions all the time on that group. Hey Maui, how you doing? Thanks very much for the email, really appreciate it. And I'm very much looking forward to receiving that. Why can't I remember who it was? He puts up questions all the time there. Good evening, Brian. Mystery sample, okay. Something to look forward to. Something extra to look forward to, cool. Carlos, that's it. It's LG Carlos OG. Yeah, this is the question he put up. Does anyone else not quite get the fascination with the Savinelli 320? Well, I did have one, which you now have, Tim. I think. Sent it to you, didn't I? I nearly pulled the trigger on a 673 the other day, but I didn't. I've really got to rein in the pad, so I actually managed to hold back my trigger finger for once, and I didn't buy it. One day I'll get a 673. I like the idea of it. It's a classic in the YTPC, given that it's the Friday Savinelli. You just bought an S-Bang, wow, you've obviously got lots of money. You bought it new or an estate, Maui? You got 7 now, Tim. Flipping heck, are you serious? Are they all the KS or the regular size? Hey Steve. May I ask what you paid for it, or is that too rude, Maui? Okay, that's it. If I'd get one, I'd probably get the smaller size. I find the KS is a bit too heavy for me. I do tend to clench quite a bit, and send her into the other room. Tell her to make one of those hot dogs that you do in your restaurant. I've been doing a bit of stalking since I got your email. I've seen a picture of you with the wife in the restaurant. So you're in New Jersey, right? Wow. Tim, and you've got Pad. Bad. I like the Oceana range. That's quite a new range, the one with the blue stems. They really, the colours pop on those. I really do like them. But I do have a pipe coming, which was an exceptional reason why I bought it, even though I'm not really buying pipes. But Izzy, he went to, if you've watched his any of his output recently, you'll know that he's really hyped up about this pipe meetup that they had there in Israel. And Israel just celebrated its 70th anniversary of independence. So without veering off into politics, this particular group had an Amarelli pipe made for this to commemorate the 70th anniversary. And essentially when he got there, they had this lovely, you can see the video actually, they had this basically handing out the pipes ceremony, if you like. And he unfortunately missed the boat because he only just discovered this group, and obviously they'd been ordered in advance, much like any of the club pipes that we buy as well. But after a little bit of chasing and pushing and investigation and help on the from people on the group, on the Facebook group, he managed to track down two. So I've got one coming. He's keeping one, and I've got one, and I'm really excited. Made by Amarelli, quite a typical sort of rustication of his. It's you've probably seen the pictures of it by now on Izzy's page, but it's basically a smooth, part rusticated, and I just like the whole. It just looks very good, and there's a very subtle sort of hint at the Israeli flag on the stem, the colours. Oh, there's a couple of inserts. Yeah, we worked it out, Tim, don't worry. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully I'll get that in the next couple of weeks or so. That would be really cool. George, so far no pipes have come out. You're early. We only started about 8 minutes ago. So you haven't missed anything. We're just chatting and saying hi to each other at this stage. Hi, John. We haven't cracked the tin yet. I haven't decided which pipe I'm going to smoke yet. We're just really talking about just stuff, just chatting. So yeah, I'm excited to get that pipe. It's obviously got some sentimental meaning as well for me, so it's just cool. So I'm looking forward to that. There's some more pipes which are in the pipeline. There's the Northern Briars 60th anniversary pipes which I ordered last year, before my daughter got engaged, mind. So he's celebrating 60 years in the pipe industry, and I ordered two, which I'm kind of half regretting now, but I'm sure I'll be happy when I get them. I ordered one sandblasted and one smooth. They've been quite a long time in the making. It's not quite a year, but it's by the time we get them, we won't be far off. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to pay for them at this stage, but there you go. So that would be nice. And there's the Pipe Club of London, the Meerschaum, which I'll be probably getting next Tuesday. I think Tuesday is the next meetup. So that will be nice. It's a 9mm Meerschaum with the club badge has been carved out on the front of the pipe. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, in fact they're all hand carved, I think. So they're all unique, and they're all slightly different shapes. We had the option when we ordered them. We had the option of getting a straight or a bent, and I can't remember. I can't remember which one I ordered now. I probably ordered a bent because I think they're quite sizable pipes, and the bent will just give that a little bit of an edge in terms of clenchability, if you like. So that's, hopefully that'll come in on Tuesday. Tomorrow is the 1st, isn't it? So it's always the 2nd Tuesday of the month. So I think it will be, yeah, so it should be next Tuesday. Borkum Riff, I tried it once very early on. Not vanilla, it was the whiskey, I think. Very early on in my pipe smoking. And of course, at that stage I wasn't using a filter, and it ripped my tongue off, so I never tried it again. I think, in fact, I think I had one bowl out of the pouch, and I don't think I smoked any more of it. I think Borkum Riff's got quite a, it's quite notorious for tongue bite. Okay, so it's, I think before I choose a pipe, I'm going to crack the tin. Actually, I haven't used this pipe for a while, so maybe we'll use this. This is Tom Phillips pot. So we might use that. Okay. So this is McBaron HH Mature Virginia. This is one of the vintage tins from the Israti sale. There's still a few of these vintage tins in the sale, but I've decided to keep this one myself, given that I'm big on Virginias at the minute. So this is from September 2010, and it says, once you light up your pipe with HH Mature Virginia, the sweet Virginia tobaccos will greet you, and slowly the dark, I'm starting to sound like stuff and things, will enter the taste. Over time, experience how the complex, naturally sweet and slightly smoky taste grows in power, making HH Mature Virginia a satisfying blend to smoke and with no tongue bite. Okay. Is there any benefit in joining? Well, for a start, you've got access to club pipes, and there are magazines which go out once every quarter, I think. They're sort of printed A4 sheets folded in half. It's an informal magazine, but it's interesting. People contribute to it. There are events which are probably a little bit nearer to you. There's, I think there are. I think they have every other Saturday they have a meetup, or every so often they have a meetup at Blake Marbriars, which is a little bit nearer. It's not quite near, but it's a little bit nearer. So you might be able to get down to that once in a while. But and then there is the meetup at, which is not necessarily, it's not the Pipe Club of London, but it's there is a meetup in Nottingham, obviously the Nottingham Pipe Show. Which you know you've been to that yourself, so, but that's not Pipe Club of London, as I say. Okay, so are you ready for this? You don't seem to get the bulging lids on these things compared to the American ones, which you do get. Well, these are probably more robust, so it probably resists it. Hey, Gecko. Okay. Get ready for the fizz. Very meek fizz. Oh, what an anticlimax. Right. Oh, I can't open it. Let's hope it's not all rotten and mouldy in there, eh? Here we go. Oh, I like the colour of that paper. Oh, that's got a rich smell. that is such a McBaron tobacco, but look how dark it is. Those Virginias were bright. You can see it's a typical McBaron, or it was at least a typical McBaron presentation, but it's so dark. What on earth is that? We have a little bit of fluff from 2010. You think it's worth anything? A very deep, rich aroma. Very, very deep. I'm just trying to put my nose on the aroma. See what it is. It's a very plummy kind of aroma. It's not deep fig, it's sweeter than that now. You can see there's a broken flake in there as well. But just look at the depth of colour. Right, people, time to try some out. Humidity is amazing considering the age, but I'm always amazed by aged tobacco, how well it retains its moisture, and the tin itself, despite a few little dents here and there, it's pretty pristine. The seal obviously did its job, which is quite amazing. Very, very, very impressive. So let that sit for a minute or two. I mean, there is moisture there. I mean, the ideal sort of moisture for a tobacco generally, officially anyway, I sometimes dry things out a little bit more, but there's supposed to be a little bit of bounce in it still, which this still has. At the same time, you don't want it to be completely soggy where it just stays where you press it, but if it bounces back, then pretty much it's ready to go. See, this is the typical kind of tobacco which would have literally burnt the socks off my tongue without a filter. McBaron's was, I called it McBite. I could never ever get on with McBaron's. Whichever ones I tried, it made no difference. It always bit me. Maui, if it tastes good, I'll send you some. I've never tried any of Drew Estate's tobaccos. I've seen a lot of people hyping about them. It seems to go as soon as it's available as well. Has Meat Pie been discontinued or something? Did I read that or am I wrong? Chad, wow. A rare treat. Well, rehydrating, there's lots of different ways you can do it. If you search YouTube, you'll find many, many ways. I have two ways of doing it, and depending on how soon I want to smoke it. If I want to smoke a tobacco pretty much straight away, what I do is I take a roll of kitchen towel and I'll lay out a couple of layers, dampen it, very, very slightly, extremely lightly dampen it, then spread out in a thin layer, a single layer of tobacco, and then I'll dampen another couple of layers of paper towels and put that on top. Leave it for 10 minutes or so, and you're ready to go. If you want to do it more longer term, then I find Boveda bag is the best way to go. You can do whetstones, you can just put, I've even used a wet paper towel and put that in a jar, in a mason jar, and left it in there for a week or two, and it slowly rehydrates it. But I find that a Boveda bag works just as well. Okay, let's go and light it and see how we go on flavour. Yeah, I've heard that people doing that as well, Chad. I guess it depends on how dry it is. Tim, I don't think it matters really. Just once you feel that the tobacco is rehydrated, just take it out. It's not like cigars where you have to be more. People tend to be more precise with the humidity. So immediately on lighting, there's a good fruity flavour. I don't know how they get these flavours in a pure Virginia, but I guess it's like any. I suppose it's the same in a cigar as well. You get flavours in a cigar leaf which hasn't been flavoured in any way. But the flavour is very reminiscent of some of the vapors that I've been trying. Chief amongst them, Dunhill Navy Rolls. It's got a similar kind of flavour profile. It's grassy Virginia with a bit of like an apricot fruit. But it has an additional smoothness, which I'm going to assume comes from the age. But there's also a little bit of a white pepper hit on there as well. Smoking the Tom Phillips. Very, very nice pipe. Haven't smoked it in a while. Nice little pot. There's a definite richness to this tobacco. and it definitely has quite a full, a mouth-filling sensation in terms of the flavors and the sort of the tingle that you get from a full flavored tobacco. If I compare it to the McClelland's Christmas Cheers or the 40th anniversary, which is the most recent ones that I've tried from McClelland, I find that the McClelland ones have more of a tingle to it. They have a little bit more of a peppery kick to it, but this one is not far off. It really is starting to have quite a bit of a flavour kick to it. I'm going to have to get some more of these jars. These little things are from IKEA. They work out maybe about £1 each, which is ridiculously cheap. I think it was £2.90 something for 3, maybe, something like that. And I mixed a couple of vapors together. I mixed some, the last live show I mixed some Dunhill Navy Rolls with a Scudo. I was finding a Scudo to be a little bit harsh compared to the Dunhill Navy Rolls. Whereas the Dunhill Navy Rolls I was starting to find to be a little bit too mild. So I thought that I'll add some Scudo to that and see if it gives it a sufficient kick. And we said that we were going to smoke that in a week's time, next Saturday, when we do the next Saturday night show. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, definitely check it out, because if I would have known about this when I first started getting jars, I would have definitely... They're so compact, and I managed to squeeze 4 ounces. This is a whole tin of Solani Silver Flake. I managed to squeeze it. There was a hard work, but I got it all in. So it's probably about 3.75 ounces, 100 grams. Tim, did you get any of that promised crazy weather today? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Chad, have you started to get a little bit of summer yet? Yeah, it was a little bit cold, but my kids were supposed to go on an outing today with school, and they cancelled it in anticipation. My kids were obviously very disappointed, but it turned out it wasn't that bad. I'll tell you what, this has got quite a peppery kick to it. My beautiful, beautiful people. How you doing? I've been trying to catch up with people, but I haven't managed. I saw quite a few videos from Jeff, but I haven't watched them all yet. There's so many goals going on at the moment, I just haven't been able to keep track of them all. And I'm probably going to add to it in the near future. I've got the 2K coming up soon. Got to think of a suitable prize and a suitable competition. Hey Quaker, how you doing? Well, we've cracked the tin of mature Virginia. Hi Pipe Cat. And it's quite spunky stuff, I must say. It's you know, I've done videos about trying to replicate the sensory experience of cigars. And I've got to say, quite a few of the recent Virginia tobaccos that I've been trying have definitely been hitting the note. There's still times when I really feel like a cigar, but I'm definitely smoking more pipe tobacco these days than cigars. I've been smoking a fair bit of this, C&D's First Responders. Very nice tobacco, but I think it needs a little bit of time. It's a vapor. It's perfect to smoke out of the tin. Doesn't really need any drying time. But I find that about halfway through the smoke, it starts to taste a little bit dirty, a little bit ashy. And I think it just needs to mellow and settle down and mature a little bit. But the profile is perfect for me. The actual flavour profile is a real nice sweet vapour. But I think this just needs some time. It's a nice tasty tobacco. There's lots of pipe tobacco which actually have cigar leaf in it, and I've tried a few of them, but I've never found any of them to really taste of cigars at all. So in terms of the flavour, I've not yet found one that successfully tastes of cigars. But what I was looking for was the sensory sensation. So cigars just yeah, you can. I've done that as well, Maui. You can do that, but it means that you're smoking a cigar. And I'm originally, the motivation behind it for me was that I was kind of trying to cut back on the cigars for two reasons: on the financial front and on the health front. If you do the economics, it's ridiculous, the comparison, the cost of smoking cigars compared to smoking pipe tobacco. For argument's sake, this 100-gram tin, I don't know what it would cost in the US, maybe $25, something like that, in its a current version of it. So for $25, you're going to get out of this, if you smoke it, you get through the tin, you're going to get, what are you going to get, maybe 15-20 smokes out of it, at least. So that's costing you like a dollar a smoke, maybe a little bit more than $1 a smoke, whereas with Cuban cigars especially, you could do that in a single cigar. So financially, it's not the most sensible thing to do is to smoke cigars, and in terms of health, you know, none of it's healthy, obviously. Hey Josh, none of it's healthy, but certainly I think it's an accepted fact that of all the smoky vices, pipes are the least harmful. So coming back to the cigar texture, so in terms of flavour, no, I've not certainly experienced it. Maybe there are other ones out there. High pipe tree. But as I say, in terms of sensation, I'm certainly experiencing some really mouth-filling sensations, really am. What do you smoke mainly, Jeff? What pipe tobaccos are you smoking? Yeah, very good analogy there, Chad. Well, Penzance, whether you follow the crowd in terms of its flavour, it is a very, very nice tobacco, but I don't think it's going to give you that kind of sensation, and I don't think that the Froggies will either. They're all fantastic tobaccos, and they've all got great flavour. High Florida Piper. But what I'm talking about is not necessarily flavours, the quality of the flavours. There's no arguments that Penzance has got very nice flavours. What I'm talking about is that tingle in the mouth, that mouth-filling sensation where it literally sets your senses on fire. And I don't mean necessarily in a chili heat kind of way. I'm talking about just you smoke it and when you smoke it you'll know. And I'm not talking about tongue bites. I'm talking about when I smoke it, and I'm getting it from this. When you smoke it, you just your jowls, your cheek, your tongue, your palate, it all tingles, and it's just it's bristling, if that makes any sense. And I've been getting that recently from tobaccos like, well, that's obviously my first try of that. I got it from this. This is pipe Christmas cheer from 2014, which I got from Cynthia and Susan Stotter. I got this a couple of years back. I never smoked it because I hated McLaren's at the time. I absolutely hated it. I couldn't stand the vinegar sort of smell, the aroma that you get off McLaren stuff. But now, to me, that aroma just lets me know that I'm about to have a good smoke. It's amazing how our palates change. I've said it many times on my channel. When I started Latakia, the first ever Latakias that I tried, and I get it with this as well. I get that. This is I got from Tim. I get that mouth tingle with this as well. When I first started Latakia, I bought a sample set from smokingpipes.com, for which I paid an absolute astronomical amount of tax. And I tried each of the blends, and each of them repulsed me. Each of them, just the Latakia, it was a new thing to me. I had never experienced it before, and I was shocked by it, and I couldn't understand why anybody would like it. But I went back to it 3-4 months later, and I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked, line and sinker, on Latakia blends. And then, as you know, I got onto Northwoods, which has been and always has pretty much a consistent #1 blend for me. Although I did, at the end of 17, name Vintage Syrian as my #1, but that has since changed again. And although I'm not really smoking English blends at the moment, if I do, it generally tends to be Northwoods. Well, this tobacco has definitely settled down now. It's not as bristling or tingly as it was before. Either that or my mouth is just acclimatized to it. Whoops. Just turn my screen off by mistake. But Chad, was that always the case? Have you always smoked a tobacco and always liked it? Or has there never been one that you dislike in the beginning and then slowly sort of grew into it? You never had that at all? I haven't tried that yet. I'm assuming that's a Burley heavy blend. Well, only you can be the judge of that, Jeff. Puts out a lot of smoke, this tobacco, I must say. Gotta try and make sure that I empty my mouth so I don't inhale. There's a lot of smoke. I would tend to agree with Pipecat. Hi Kevin, how you doing? Maui, I take it your wife's not in the room anymore. Hey Cowdog, how you doing? Well, the flavors in this bowl has just changed into a really very nice flavor. The fruit has kind of expanded into a more general fruit flavor, but it's delicious. A few minutes ago, it went through a patch where I thought it was going to start to go ashy like the other tobaccos, but I won't say completely changed, but it's really improved into a really nice smoke. It's a much more balanced smoke now, so that tingly sensation has mellowed back a little bit, but just everything now just tastes nice. It's just a nice balanced smoke with just enough kick to it to make it interesting, really. So Jeff, going back to your question about sticking to cigars only, in the past year or so, I've gone backwards and forwards from cigars, and I certainly would echo what Pipecat said. I mean, there were times when I was literally, virtually only smoking cigars, and it wasn't that long ago, maybe 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I remember there was a time when 2 or 3 weeks went by and I was only smoking cigars. I literally did not have a single bowl of tobacco. And that's completely changed back. I wouldn't say completely, because I still smoke cigars regularly. I had one before. And when I came home from a job earlier on, I only wanted a cigar. But your palate just changes, you know. I wouldn't get rid of all your pipes, and I wouldn't get rid of all your pipe tobacco. But unless, you know, as I say, we can only speak from our own experience, and you're really going to be the judge of it. But there's no harm in just keeping some back, and you never know. Or just keep what you've got, but enjoy your cigars, and at some point, if you want your pipes again, you'll have them. Favourite pipe tobacco and favourite cigar, Jeff? Well, that's an unanswerable question, really. For me, anyway. I'm sure you'll have some Codger blends out there which some people have smoked for years and years, and it's very easy for them to say, "Yep, that's my favourite blend." But I haven't been smoking long enough to say that. I'm approaching 3 years in. Well, just over 2.5 years now, and I think I'm just starting, really. Still on the journey, still discovering. This whole Virginia is a new discovery for me. You know, it's only a few months old. I can certainly say in terms of right now today, the most consistent, reliable smoke that I'll go to will be London Fog. It's a very rare thing that a homemade sort of mishmash of tobaccos actually works better than the originals. I've done lots of mishmashes, and I've always come to the realization that you know, people are professional blenders for a reason. People who have been in the trade for 20, 30 years, they know their stuff, and if it was something worth doing, they'd have done it. So it's quite rare to put something together and enjoy it in a consistent way. And for me, that has worked with the London Fog. Hey Marsha, how you doing? Is your boy behaving? If he isn't, just stick him in with the pups in the cage. And in terms of cigars, favourite cigars, that's also a very difficult one, because I could certainly say that Cuban cigars are my favourite compared to cigars from Nicaragua or Honduras or any of the other New World places. But Cubans being what they are, you can smoke two exactly the same cigars, the same brands, and they'll taste quite different. So from that point of view, it's a hard one to say. I enjoy all of the Cuban brands pretty much. I don't think there's any that I don't like. The long filler ones anyway. And it really depends on their age, on how they've been looked after, and how tangy they are. But I don't think well, if you ask me are there any that I don't like, I can tell you the one in particular which I least go for, and that's Hoyo de Monterrey. Well, having said that, I spoke to an Epi 2 yesterday, which I quite enjoyed, but I find them very thin in flavour. So for me, I think at the moment, out of the ones that I've tried, that's probably my least favourite. My most favourite, not a regular smoke, but and it's going to sound a bit cliched, but I have to say, if you get a good one, if you're lucky to get a good one, a Cohiba Robusto or a Siglo 4, very, very enjoyable. But consistency is an issue, and I enjoy H. Upmann's very, very much. I just got some Connoisseur number 1s, and the Connoisseur number 1 was one of the first H. Upmann cigars that I really got into. I was very, very lucky when I got them a couple of years back, that they had a couple of years age on them already, and they were divine. They were sublime smoke, a beautiful, smooth, sweet, tangy, but floral as well at the same time. And to me, that's exactly how an H. Upmann cigar should taste like. The batch, I ran out of those. I managed to make them last about a year or so. The batch that I just got now, they're 2017s, so it's going to be a while before I'll really get a decent flavour out of them. I haven't tried them yet. It seems to be a bit of a waste of money to try them. They're not ready. They smell green, so they're not ready. Hi Joe. I'll show you the connoisseurs that I recently got. No drooling allowed. These are not quite a Robusto. They're a 48 ring gauge and 5 inches, so they are officially kind of within Robusto range, but not a classic Robusto. But I'm not opening them up. They already smell better than they did when I first opened the box. And it's only been a few days. But they're not ready. Yeah, Robusto is my preferred size. So I would say that with it being a good conditioned cigar, I would say Cohiba Robusto, probably, without a doubt. But that's not an anytime smoke, you know. It's you wouldn't smoke that really middle of the day. Monty 4 for a breakfast smoke. Not for me. The Monties are quite pokey, especially the number 4 being a smaller ring gauge. For a morning smoke, an H. Upmann for me. A Robena. I've got some Robenas which I really enjoy in the morning. Although there was a time when I was literally just smoking Monty's number 2s and Petit number 2s, and I was smoking those in the morning in the car before eating even. So, but not so much now. Right, so let's get this pipe relit. Well, Maui, depends what you start your day with. Given the trade that you're in, you can probably have a nice, hearty, beefy breakfast. I would agree with you, Tree. Certainly for me, a big part of is obviously the pipes themselves. And I'm kind of guilty as charged. A lot of my pipes are pretty, so I'm a little bit materialistic in that respect. But I look, you know, if that's what does it for me, then why not? got a little bit of gurgle in this before actually, which I don't usually get in straight pipes. It's not as peppery as it was before, but it's still there. And that fruity, sort of well-balanced fruit flavour I was talking about before has subsided now as well. That's probably because I was talking and I had to relight it, so I'm probably getting a little bit of ash. Oh dear. I've just tipped the whole thing out. Well, it's almost done anyway. Yeah, I saw an email notification. I haven't looked at it yet. Let's have a quick look at that, Maui. Oh wow. Oh wow. Very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Congratulations. Enjoy using it. I noticed you didn't write in the email what I asked you. Is your wife still in the room? Right, let's smoke something else. I'm thinking, I haven't smoked an English for a long time. Thinking maybe to do that. What do we think? Maybe some Northwoods? I was talking to Maui, Kevin. How long have you had the pups there, Kevin? .965, cool. 965 was also one of the early ones I tried, and I didn't like it really. And I haven't gone back. Maybe now I would like it, I don't know. I do have a tin of it somewhere. So they're hardly puppies if they're 16. Whoa, that Northwoods is smelling pretty good. No, sorry, I'm not a so I don't know. This is a GBD Jubilee, and this was an estate pipe which I bought, and it's probably my favourite English smoker. I smoke English blends in it. And out of all the English pipes that I've got that I've dedicated to English blends, from you, this one is my favourite. By far, it smokes so well. Funny thing is with Northwoods is that people consider this a really full-on Latakia blend. I don't know why, but I don't see it that way. I never have. I would say that stuff like 965 was a lot stronger than this. I find it to be extremely well balanced. Lots of different flavours going on. I think I'd call it a pot, to be honest. I mean, it's certainly a billiard shape, but I think I'd call it a pot. Cheers, Chad. Have a good one. Thanks for popping in. I'm really not digging English blends at the moment. I just wanted to change, but it's not really working, to be honest. But I'm going to persevere. I'm not sure what it is about this pipe, whether it's just everything. It's probably drilled very, very well. It's light, so it's very clenchable, but the bit is also very, very comfortable. And I think I'm quite fussy when it comes to the bits. And for me, the bit is a really crucial part of a pipe. Very, very crucial, because I clench a fair amount. How the bit is shaped and how well it sort of sits between your teeth really, really has an effect on the whole balance of the pipe. And this one is just spot on. This Soren Refberg, a very nice pipe, a good balanced pipe, but the bit just, it's okay, it's not bad, but it's just not as good. And when I try to compare them and see why one bit might be more comfortable than the other, okay, this one's a bit wider. The depth of the bit is a little bit deeper than this one. I don't think it's taller. Maybe a bit. It could also be because of the age, so the edges are rounded off. Maybe that makes it more comfortable. The thing with Northwoods is there's a bit of everything in there for everybody. There's a good Virginia flavour, there's a good grassy flavour, there's a good smoky flavour, and the smoky flavour for me is right up my alley. I don't like these sort of bonfire kind of smoky flavours. This one has got like a sweet smoky flavour, which is just up my alley. Ah, Paul Daniels. This is how I remember that your name is Jack, not Paul. I always have to look at this, and it reminds me which one. I always get confused whether it really is Paul or is Jack. This is what I look at to remind myself. Well, it depends if you want to go filtered or not. If you've always smoked without filter, then why go for a filtered pipe, Maui? Despite really not wanting to smoke this, it's actually developing into a really nice bowl. As I was saying, you get the Virginia and the grassiness, you get sweetness, you get smokiness, a little bit of an injection of nutty kind of flavour every so often. It's, for me, it's the perfect Balkan. There's the Orientals there. Jack, you should try smoking cigars with filters. Perhaps you might be able to remain vertical. Just out of interest, have you tried a cigar since that little episode? Well, we were talking about nubbing cigars by putting the nub of the cigar into the end of a pipe. You could do that with a filtered pipe. Maybe that will work for you. I would agree with you though. Why try something if you don't need it? I've taken that approach with the Haunted Bookshop. Eric, he's onto Haunted Bookshop, and I just took the approach that, because I tried it once and it knocked me a little bit, and I just said to him, why should I get myself used to it and then have to get that nicotine hit in the future? I'd rather just stick with tobaccos that don't kick me at the moment. Yeah, the Maduro as well. That champagne one, was that a Perdomo? Yeah, same kind of idea as Haunted Bookshop, really. Old Joe Krantz. I haven't tried it, but from what I understand. You can certainly get, I haven't seen the Pigar, but you can certainly get cigar holders. I know that Briar Boy Aaron, he uses them. He uses, I think he has Meerschaum ones when he smokes a cigar. That's also an idea, because the Meerschaum will absorb some of that moisture. Yeah, Meerschaum. When I was going through my phase of putting tape around the cap of cigars, I looked into getting cigar holders. I spoke to Boswell Pipes and asked him if he could make me some out of briar, and he was very happy to do that. But I got over that whole issue, and I never actually got around to ordering any. Maui, have you tried the Northwoods? Do you like English blends? I'll send you some if you do. Well, I guess that's a good thing, Jack, if you're busy. I remember that one of your very first early videos, you were undecided about how your career was going to go, whether to give up the day job or not. Yeah, I had the same experience with my father. It was the one that was number one. I can't remember what it's called. Bijou, Mon Bijou, or something like that. Or Petit Bijou, something like that. And I found it too strong, too peppery. Well, Jack, if your posts are anything to go by, you seem to be in the zone anyway. And hard graft is that's the spice of life, isn't it? You get there eventually. Yeah, absolutely. The Padron, I was knocked for six by the 80th anniversary. I had one of their Churchills. I've mentioned it quite a few times on my channel. It took me 3 days to smoke it. I think it was a 7-inch by 56, something. It's a big cigar, and every time I smoked it, it knocked me. I smoked it in 3 sittings, and it knocked me every time. And I've kind of chickened out of doing them again. It's really just mind over matter, because that was pretty early on. It probably wouldn't knock me now, but don't think I've tried it since. Yeah, it was the Maduro that I had. Flavors were great, but it just knocked me for six. It was, if I remember correctly, it's going back a while now, but if I remember correctly, it was quite a chocolatey affair. Have a great day, Jack. Or should I say, have a magic day. Have fun, Joe. An illusion, Jack. An illusion. I'm giving grammar lessons now. Have a great day, Jack. My tree, Tampa. Being put to good use, tree. This bowl of Northwoods is really mellowing me out. I'm sitting back on my chair, semi-reclined, and just enjoying the ambiance and letting you guys chit-chat. I'm just going to watch. Good one, George. I've got a tin of McClelland Dark Star, but I find it very hard to prepare. I should really try it again after getting into the McClelland stuff. But it's like really hard. It is also one of those vintage tins. I think it's quite a bit older than the 2010 McBaron. Yeah, let's see if I've got it handy. I think it was quite a bit older. 2003. 15 years. It's black, and the pieces are quite hard, and they don't really break down. I've given away most of this tin already because I didn't really go for it at the time when I got it. It feels moist, but it's just like a very weird texture. It like crumbles, but it doesn't really break up, doesn't really rub out as such. It just, I don't know, I just found it a bit weird, and when it was in the pipe, it kind of clogged up because it was so sort of just no elasticity to it. Yeah, it might be an idea to cube cut it. It's almost like it's petrified. Yeah, like bug peat, it is like that. ABB. I met one of your countrymen, BB, the other day. One of the guys who comes onto these live chats, Razvan. He's a cigar smoker. I met him in Dunhills and we shared a couple of cigars. Which was very nice. Well, it's called Dunhill, but it's actually British American tobacco, and it was the original home of Dunhill at 1A St James's, but it's a very nice It's a nice shop. When it's quiet, it's very nice because the lounge is very small. There's about 6 or 7 or 8 chairs there. Really nice, comfortable armchairs. But it's quite an intimate setting. As compared to JJ Fox's, which has a very big lounge. But I like them both. But I tend to stay longer at Dunhill's when I'm there. Yeah, no shortage of places. Head of St James's, and there's 3 shops on that street which you can find a very nice selection of pipes. And if you're on a budget, just go into JJ Fox's and have a look at their basket pipes. Hi Will. I think the basket pipes at JJ Fox's are probably the best out of all 3 shops if you're looking for a basket pipe. And in terms of pricing, for regular price retail pipes, you just have to hunt around, look at all of them. They're all much of a muchness, really. In terms of cigars, without a doubt, Dunhill is the cheapest. But they're all expensive because they're Cubans. Although they all have a decent selection of non-Cubans as well. Well, there's no lounges in France at all? Is it not allowed? Well, technically in the UK, cigar lounges per se don't exist. The only reason why you're able to smoke in a lounge is because of a loophole which allows you to do that. And they're called tasting lounges. So technically you're allowed to, they're sampling lounges or sampling rooms. So you're allowed to officially try out a cigar and see if you like it before you buy. And that loophole is just left as is, and they're just used as lounges, but it's a loophole which has kind of saved the industry a little bit. Yeah, European prices for cigars are cheaper, and the UK is just ridiculous. But if you want to buy pipes in the UK, you really ought to go online. Blake Marbriers, very, very cheap pipes, good quality pipes. Northern Briars, Ian Walker. You have to wait a bit for his pipes, but very nice, classically typical English style pipes. But he does put his hand to lots of different shapes. You go on his website and you'll see he's got and he'll do anything customized as well. But if you buy them retail, you can buy Northern Briars retail, but you'll pay a premium for them. Davidoff on 1A St James's does have Northern Briar pipes, but you pay a premium. It's probably almost double than buying it from Ian direct, but you do have to wait. Yeah, Blake Mars is very nice. I've been up there, spent an afternoon there in his workshop, watched him work. Lovely to go again. Really, really want to go again. Even more so, I'd love to go up to see Ian Walker at work. If you haven't seen my video of Blake Marbrier as well, and you want to get some memories, There's one. It's on my channel somewhere. No, you're probably right, BB. The tobacco is the tobacco. Um, I do find a difference. If you're smoking a corn cob, briar, or meerschaum, there is a difference there, without a doubt. And I prefer briar myself, but each to their own. I'm not streaming daily. It's just when the fancy takes me. I try to stick to the Saturday nights, and every so often I'll do one during the week as well. Sometimes more than one. It really depends on how time goes and what I happen to be doing. And because I was cracking open this tin, I thought it would be a nice thing to do live. I try very hard not to do live streams frivolously just for the sake of it, because it's boring. But an evening like this where I just don't feel a pressure to have a topic. You know, sometimes when you're in company and you're not comfortable, and you just have these awkward silences, and sometimes you're in company and silences don't bother you because you're comfortable. And tonight is just one of those nights where it's just comfortable and just, you know, freestyle exactly. And I don't feel, it doesn't always come across afterwards. If people rewatch this, it might be a bit boring for lots of silences, but you have to kind of read the comments as well. And now that they do the comments when you upload it, so that's pretty cool, so people can follow it. But as I say, this is really just about enjoying the live stream. It's not about people watching it so much later on, although I'm happy that they do. So I don't feel pressured to have to be speaking the whole time. When I've got something to say, then great. But I mean, in good company, like, you know, tonight and most of the live streams that I've done, it's just a nice virtual pipe meetup, enjoying your pipes. Hopefully, you're all enjoying something that you're smoking at the moment, and no pressure, just chilling. Kevin, this bowl is very nice. Coming towards the end of it now. I only put in about half a bowl, as I do. Streaming also does depend on the quality of your internet connection. I did one from the car once, and it wasn't that good. It was 4G, just wasn't fast enough. It was too choppy, and I just terminated it. It just wasn't fair to do it. Spiced vanilla. Is that a tobacco of some kind? Who's it made by? It's a shame you can't upload pictures, so you can each see what we're doing, what we're smoking. Well, it would basically turn into Skyping, wouldn't it? it would be difficult. We talked about this at one of the live chats before. When you've got 3 or 4 people, it works. But when you've got, at the moment, we've got 13 people watching. Having 13 split screens would be very hard to actually have any kind of meaningful conversation, I think. It might be a house blend there, Kevin. Any of you guys still seeing McClellan blends at B&M's in the US? I'm sure I'll see the picture on IG. You're a prolific poster on IG, Kevin. Does that answer your question, BB? Works just fine. It's a Sassini pipe. How old? Tree. How many dots? Oh yeah, why? What are you up to, Josh? Oh, you mean for the Sassini? Sorry, I missed you there. You can't see any dots on it. Well, I don't know if it's a Sassini then. Sassini should have some dots on the stem. You can have anything up to 8 dots. The 8 dots tend to be the more recent ones, which not as valuable, but the ones from earlier eras, I think 4 and 5 dots, I think those are very collectible. Maui, a pleasure as always. Thank you very much for joining, and I am very excited to receive that package. I'm sure I will do a video when I get it. How old is your one, Kevin? Well, I'm no expert on vintage pipes, but perhaps there was lines by Sassini which didn't have the dots on. Maybe they're even more valuable. I've got no real idea. The only Sassinis that I've seen, though, are ones with dots on them. That's Sasini. You can see the dots on that. See, they've all got the dots on them. That top one on the right, I had one like that, and I gifted that to Briarblade a while back, to Le Don Mott. Was that a car boot find tree? Right. This is a very important contraption. Do you know what it is yet? This is my son's, Rafi. You worked it out, Josh. I can't be without that. By the way, it's for my back, not anywhere else. No, I don't like Peterson tobaccos at all. I've tried Peterson's, but it may well be that I've got to try them again, because they bit me as well. So now, obviously, using the filtered pipes, I should really try them again. I haven't tried Peterson's for a long, long time. No, it's a back scratcher. That's about as far down as it goes. I'm big into back scratching. When I'm sitting at the table with all the family around eating a meal, I'll get the little kids to scratch my back. It's the best thing in the world. Yeah, Baloo. JJ Fox, yes, they do have basket pipes with their name on it, and one of them I do smoke, I think. I think this one's a Parker though, I don't think this is a JJ Fox. Yeah, so this one's a Parker. Whoops. I'm just trying to locate. This is a JJ Fox one, which I don't think I've shown yet. I'm not sure if I have or not, but it's one I want to get converted to a filter. This is a JJ Fox I bought one of the times I was there recently. It's got some nice green, and it's kind of a sitter, and there you go, James J. Fox. And I'm pretty certain this is a Dunhill Seconds. I can't remember the shape they call this with the Dunhill. Is this a Hungarian? I think it is. I think it's called Hungarian shape, not sure. So this one should quite easily convert to a filtered pipe. London Fog, yeah, still doing that. I made the batch the other day, right there. I've got a bunch of pipes which I'm waiting to convert, but funds as they are at the moment, it's just not happening. But at some point, I've got a... Right, that's that bowl done. Right, I think that's my pipes for this evening. I need to tidy this desk up. Yeah, so I think that's about it, people. You sent me a picture of an American shore. Which media did you use? Oh, here we go. Yeah, right. Yeah, I would assume that this is also a sub-brand of Sassini, but I don't know for a fact. This is the Kevin's one. It says Ivory London Made by Sassini, with an S on it there. And I guess that's as close as sending pictures to each other on during the chat. Alright people, thank you very, very much once again for a delightful virtual pipe meetup. I hope you've all enjoyed it. And I will see you soon again on Saturday. So I hope you can join me. I will aim to do that around somewhere between 11 and midnight UK time. So I hope to see you then. Thanks very much everybody. Have a great night. Catch you on the next one.